Mark Jacobson is a New York Jew born to a father who fought in World War II, so Mark grew up hearing lots of rumors about the Nazis, and one in particular stuck in his mind: how the Nazis used skin from concentration camp prisoners to make common household goods like lampshades. Myth or truth? We're going to find out. I'm Iris Ruth Pastor here with Mark Jacobson for a little small talk. And Mark is the author of the book, The Lampshade, and he will be coming to Tampa on November 8th for Tampa Jewish Book Month. Good day, Mark.
Hi, how are you?
Great. We are so happy to hear you, and we are so happy to have you with us today. So you wrote a book, and it was billed as a Holocaust detective story from Buchenwald to New Orleans. And I was wondering how you got involved in this project.
A friend of mine lives in New Orleans and loves the city and has lived there for a long time. To him, the hurricane there was a disaster in many ways because it destroyed this place that he loved. And he was just sort of driving around, was very disoriented. And one day he came upon a rummage sale, a bunch of junk. It was obviously all hurricane damaged things. And he wanted to buy some things there, but the guy who was selling it was very strange, completely covered with tattoos and all kinds of stuff. He had one tattoo on his arm of a $100 bill that said, "By any means necessary." So that's the kind of person he was. And he said, look, I have something I think you like. And my friend said, well, yeah, sure, what's that? And he brought out this lamp with this lampshade on it. And my friend is he's the kind of person that spends a lot of time on eBay. He knows a lot about antiques. So he said, well, this is weird. What is this? And the guy goes, well, Hitler made skin out of the Jews. This is made out of the skin of the Jews. And my friend was like, what? He said, yeah, it's true, $35. So my friend, being the kind of person he is, I mean, how could you pass up a story like that for $35? So, and he didn't believe it, and really nobody believed it, but it's just sort of the way that this suggestion is planted into your mind and the strangeness of the actual object began to, as he said, prey on his mind. It began to become a very scary thing to him. So somewhere along the way, myself, living in New York, and I called him up because he's a buddy of mine. I talk to him every so often. And he told me this strange story about him. He bought this lampshade. The guy said it was made out of human skin. And I said, wow, that's really weird, man. So he said, well, it's really not my problem anymore. And I said, well, how do you get that? And he said, well, because I just sent it to you. And I said, to me? And he said, yeah, you're the journalist. You find out what it is. So that's basically where this book begins, at least narratively speaking.
Mark, I know you're a journalist, you're an author, and you're a reporter. So I'm sure when your friend presented you with this evidence, you wanted to determine what was going on with this lampshade issue, and you did a little research. And I was wondering if you can tell us what things you actually wanted to find out about the lampshade and its origins.
Well, I mean, I'd heard of it, obviously, of course, because it's one of the most foremost myths or stories that you heard about the Holocaust back in the early days. And I really didn't do that much about it in the beginning because it did give me the creeps a little bit, I have to say.
Sure.
So, but then eventually I began to investigate it mostly because my friend was calling me on the phone, what are you doing about the lampshade? I said, yeah, I'll do something. And then, well, one thing led to another, and I went to the Museum of Natural History in several places, but eventually I got the thing DNA tested, and it came back that it was actually real. It was of human origin, and this is with a report from one of the foremost DNA labs in the country, and this kind of changed things considerably. So then I began to realize that, because for people that either know or don't know, I mean, these things, the soap, the issues of the soap and the lampshade, have been more or less considered to be a myth.
Or urban type myths.
Yeah, kind of based on rumors, and I'm not really sure. There was not proof. No lampshade was ever, despite all the huge hoopla about it back in the late 40s and early 50s, no lampshade was ever introduced at the Nuremberg trial, and there was no, even though Ilse Koch, who was what they call the overseer of the Buchenwald camp, who was the personality most identified with these things, she was tried. In fact, she was tried twice. for her war crimes, but she was never. They never brought any lampshades or anything like
And
that.
she was the wife of the
She was the
commander.
wife of Karkat. She was the commandant of
Right.
Buchenwald.
Okay.
And she had this reputation that she would drive right around on a white stallion, and she would pick guys out that had interesting tattoos, and like then you never see these people again until you saw these strange objects with their tattoos on it, and it used to scare
Sure.
scare anybody. And also you have a situation where people living in a concentration camp, they're already in hell to some
Sure.
respect.
Sure.
So why not believe that?
Sure.
Anything is possible.
Are we going to keep our viewers in suspense about the ultimate fate of the lampshade, and they're not going to be able to hear about it until you come visit us? Or are you going to let the cat out of the bag?
Well, the book is available. You can read the book before you see me. Because actually the ending is the final dispensation of the lampshade is an interesting religious question. I mean, and I've talked to many rabbis about this, and many museum people as well. And I'll just leave that I'll leave that in suspense because I think a lot of people have different ideas about what to do with something like this. One of the interesting things about having an object like this in your possession that you can hold on to is you begin to understand your responsibility as a Jewish person and as a human being in a larger sense, because regardless, at the end of the day, this object, regardless of how it came to be, the horror of how it came to be, it's still a human being. It was a human being. It remains part of a human being. And in fact, my feelings, which was when I first got it, which were horror and terror, and a lot of people don't even want to see it, I began to have this unbelievable, overwhelming sense of sympathy for the victim. And in a way, my feeling about it is like it was a human being, then it became an object of terror, and in my mind, it became a human being again. So in a way, that was sort of redeeming for me personally, and I was trying to express that in the book, that's sometimes strange things come to you in the mail, and you have to deal with it.
And it did come full circle, which is so interesting. Mark, it's been a pleasure chatting with you today, and I want to thank you so much for joining us. And we are definitely looking forward to hosting you in the city of Tampa very soon. And you are going to be coming to the JCC's 5th annual Tampa Jewish Book Festival. And again, the name of the book for our viewers and listeners is The Lampshade, a Holocaust detective story from Buchenwald to New Orleans. And you will be appearing in Tampa on Monday evening, November 8th at 7:30 p.m., correct?
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, so are we. I'm Iris Ruth Pastor, a contributor to Let My People Know, which is an outreach and engagement initiative.